We're going to check out how health clubs are finding ways to appeal to and serve the needs of older members who have joined in the fitness wave.
You won't hear the clang of weights, the thump of top 40 music, or the phrase, "no pain, no gain" in this gym. Here at Miracles Fitness in Rio Grande, New Jersey, exercise is quiet and gentle, and the staff is friendly and encouraging.
Thanks. How's my Laura? Fine. Doing good, honey?
Miracles Fitness is a health club designed specifically for seniors, baby boomers, women, and the physically challenged. Founder Dottie Drake worked as a registered nurse for nearly 30 years before she opened a fitness center, in part because of her own health needs.
I sit around too much.
Well, that's why. And then you come here and you sit there. So I said, move your body like you move your mouth, Tommy.
Back in 1997, I was going through a very bad divorce, and I was obese, diabetic, hypertensive, like in bed at 7 o'clock at night, no energy level, just like life was over. Basically, I was sitting around waiting to die at 47. Looked up all the things that I had: high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, arthritis, ulcers, and found that all those things that I had were a direct result of my poor lifestyle choices. It isn't something I had to be that way. If I made changes in my life, like started eating differently and exercising, I could reverse all that stuff.
The left button takes the weight out.
Determined to overcome her own health problems and eager to help others do the same, Dottie trained as a fitness instructor. In 1998, she opened a club called Fitness First for women and seniors. It was later renamed Miracles Fitness and now has 6 locations in New Jersey, Louisiana, and Indiana.
I knew that there was a lot more people like me out there, that I needed to open a place for me to get healthy so I could help them get healthy.
The doctor told me 3 years ago to go do exercise, and I just ignored it until I found myself sitting all the time, and it got so that I didn't ever feel like getting up. And I thought, this is the time to start doing something with yourself. I thought I was too old, and once your muscles are gone, that's it. I didn't think they would ever come back. That never entered my mind. And I didn't go there to lose weight. I went there to try and get my strength back or feel better.
Part of what makes Miracles Fitness so senior-friendly is its focus on safety and its emphasis on steady, gradual progress over quick, short-lived results.
No one can come into my health club unless they are seen by a certified personal fitness trainer who is then instructed additionally by me on, the problems of aging and the fear and all that, those kind of factors. We take their body fat, we take their waist to hip ratio, we take their blood pressure and pulse. Then there's a national chart in there. We show them, this is where you are, and this is where, for health purposes, that you need to be. This isn't to make you feel good or bad. It just gives us a baseline so that we can work, because we bring them back there every 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks, we're going back to reevaluate, remeasure, and take them out and make them work a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder.
And we also can do posture analysis. That's what the Align-A-Bot is, where Nick
Dottie evaluates everybody at Miracle Fitness as to what they can do. And then she designs the program for you. The staff is just wonderful. They help you out with everything. They set the machines up for you, because really you don't know anything about the machines until you're there a while.
Dottie takes you by the hand, and she takes you to every machine, and she puts you on every machine and lets you work on every machine. And the regimen that's beneficial for you on that machine, she marks down on a card, and she goes through every machine until you're finished, and your card is your Bible, more or less.
The machinery at Miracles Fitness is purchased with seniors in mind. Strength training devices use compressed air so they create less noise and provide a safer workout. Features such as wider wheelchair-accessible seats, greater adjustability, and fingertip weight control make the equipment easier for seniors to use.
I try to think of everything, every excuse that I would use not to exercise, and try to counteract that with the equipment. He's had 2 knee replacements. You can see him right there. And he can do this stuff. So just because you have a problem doesn't mean you can't exercise.
I actually looked at another gym, and it was a gym that was with the metal weights and things like that. They weren't air compressed. And when I went to her gym, I could see that there were older people there that had disabilities, and I also saw younger people. And I just felt more comfortable that the way the whole thing was laid out, that it was very easy to be in this gym.
I was surprised at Miracle Fitness, that it was such an easy thing to adapt to, because you can go anytime you want. If the things hurt you, or you know, they don't want you to do them. So whatever they show you is easy, and you'll find that it helps you. And if you go consistently, you'll find that it helps you a lot and keeps you alive.
In working with seniors, Dottie stresses the practical aspects of exercise, getting back into good enough shape to get around.
Like I told you, when you lose this, you lose the ability to walk. So it's very important that you have to strengthen those legs, you know, those quadriceps. The one that she's doing right there is the, like we call the old lady arms, grandma arms, but guys get that too. When you lose that, you bob and weave when you're trying to get up out of a chair. That muscle group helps you propel yourself up. The one next to it that we had John on is the muscle in the back of the leg that gets you up and down off of the floor. So if you did nothing but this, you're going to be functioning independently for the rest of your life. That's how simple it is.
Dottie's philosophy? It's never too late to get healthy. Her clients are happy to prove her right.
At 70, I didn't think I was that old. And I wasn't, really. Anybody, it's, well, like Dottie says, you're never too old.
When I came to Miracle Fitness, Dottie says, "See the way you shuffle?" You know, I shuffle like an old lady. She said, "You'll be picking up your feet after a while because you're going to get those muscles back in your legs." In 3 months, I noticed that my walking is altogether different. I feel stronger, and I have more energy.
My hitting is better in golf. My putting isn't any better. But my golf stroke is stronger. And here I am getting older, you know. And I'm hitting better than I did before.
I can stay on the dance floor longer. I can stand longer. I can sit longer. I can walk further. These things have made a big difference. I can hold my grandchildren, you know. I can pick them up, which is great.
If you're willing to do something, you'll get better. Guaranteed you'll get better. I don't care what disease that you have, you will be better. I'm not talking about, can we cure everybody? No, but we can certainly make you feel a lot better than you did when you walked in the door. And that's what it's all about.
Joining me now to discuss the importance of finding exercise facilities and programs that understand the needs and concerns of seniors is Colin Milner, founder and CEO of the International Council of Active Aging. The ICAA's goal is to change society's perceptions of aging and improve the quality of life for aging baby boomers and older adults. Welcome, Mr. Milner.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about the 6 dimensions of ICAA.
Well, the 6 dimensions of wellness that we have under the ICAA is really looking at more of a whole person model for health and wellness, as opposed to just one-dimensional model. You know, some of the people I've dated could be one-dimensional, but you know.
Bitter, are you?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, but back to your work.
Back to the work.
The ICAA. So one of the dimensions is emotional.
Emotional, physical, spiritual, social, vocational, and of course, intellectual.
So you're trying to build a holistic approach as opposed to single-dimensional, right?
Very much so, very much so.
Why do you think that exercise is so beneficial for seniors?
Well, if you look at the whole process of aging, in between the ages of 35 and 70, we lose roughly about 50% of our strength. That's the equivalent of me taking you and having someone...
Be careful.
Well,
yeah.
That's true. You know, taking you and putting someone that weighs the exact same amount that you do on your back and asking you to walk around all day. You know, you've just lost 50% of your strength. that's a significant difference in the quality of life. Now, research shows that you can reverse that bit by bit over a very short period. So the quality of life improves significantly. So exercise really is, a great way of actually being able to regain your independence if you've lost it, and a great way of keeping your independence.
Is it just strength training that can help with that, or does cardiovascular also help?
Well, you want to make sure that you have a rounded program, but if I had to refer people to one element, I would look at strength, because if you can't get up out of a chair, you're not going to be able to do a lot of the various cardiovascular programs. You're not going to be able to do, some of the other things that you would, such as going for a walk, run, all of that.
And for those first-timers that are getting out there, can you explain the difference between cardiovascular and strength training?
Well, strength training basically is just that. You're building your strength. According to Dr. Bill Evans, one of the greatest weaknesses, no pun intended there, is that most older adults have the inability to lift as much as 10 pounds. So by increasing your strength, you're able to increase your ability to function on a day-to-day basis. And with cardiovascular strength, it's good for your heart health, and we need to work both ends.
Hold that thought. We're going to be back in just 1 second. Stay with us, because when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Colin Milner.
True or false? Cardiovascular activity is the only exercise that really works the heart. Do you know the answer? It's false. During a weight training session, your heart rate can increase over 100 beats per minute.
We're back to continue our discussion on senior-friendly gyms and other issues surrounding active aging with the founder of the ICAA, Colin Milner. So, seniors, this particular organization is quite geared towards seniors. Is exercise beneficial for all seniors?
Exercise is, in my mind, crucial for all seniors. The challenge is that some people aren't able to exercise because they're bedridden. But people who are literally, well, let me back up a little bit. There are 5 different levels of functioning older adults. There's the elite athlete, there's the fit individual, there is the independent individual, which is the vast majority of society who's out there having a better...
Able-bodied.
Exactly. There's the frail and there's the dependent. For dependent, it's more of a restorative care, and it's much more of therapy than just exercise itself. But everybody else, absolutely.
Well, clearly, when you talk about therapy, regardless of what situation you're in, I would think the mental part of it and the interaction that you're having with others is clearly helpful. Would you agree?
Well, the mental part is key, as well as the social part, as you just mentioned. There are very few people who don't want a social connection. But the mental part, as you also mentioned, is crucial, especially nowadays, as many of us are trying to hang on to our faculties as we get older. Cognitive health is key.
Right, and cognitive being our memory and our brains. When you talk about the various continuum of healthy or non-healthy mature adults, medication clearly plays a part as we age. How does that play a part in how we exercise? Well,
for a lot of people, medication impacts things like fatigue. It can impact things such as dizziness. If someone's a hypertensive, as an example, they may get a little dizzy when they're exercising. So you really want to make sure that whatever you're doing as far as your medication is concerned, that you find out ahead of time how it will impact your exercise. But in reality, very few people should not exercise because of their medication.
But you should certainly ask your physician before you ever attempt to do any kind of exercise, right?
Absolutely.
What about the difference between working out in a gym, even if it's a senior-friendly gym, versus outdoors for a mature adult?
Well, depending where you live, working out in a gym, as an example, certainly is more appealing, especially in the middle of the winter or in the middle of the summer when it's very hot. Sure. Some people don't have transportation, and their only way of exercising is outdoors or inside their own home. The nice part about being around a lot of people is it's a very motivating thing, and it can get you going. It's kind of tough being
Lone soldier?
A lone soldier sometimes gets shot first, you know?
What about if I was actually going to go and look for a senior-friendly gym that's similar to Miracle's gym that we saw in that piece? What are some of the things I need to make sure that this gym has?
Well, I think the first thing that you want to make sure of is that they have trained staff. You know, like the old saying, you know, the busiest bar is the place with the best bartender. You know, no different here. If the place
or else he's just really good looking, one of the two. But anyways,
yeah,
go ahead.
Well, yes.
So make sure they're trained.
That, yeah. But make sure that they're trained, and not just trained, but that they're certified to work with older adults. Find out who they've worked with.
When you talk about certified trainers, do you actually go up and say, are you ACAH certified, or what do you ask for?
Well, the first thing I'd ask is, have they taken any additional education to deal with older adults, and how many of their clients are older? You know, and ask to speak to their clients. You know, how have their clients felt interacting with them? Do they understand their needs? Do they not understand their needs? As you saw in the clip with Dottie Drake, you know, you also want to make sure that the equipment that is purchased for the facility is accessible to all levels of functioning older adults. Now, some facilities may only be geared to the elite older athlete and market themselves as such, and the equipment they buy may be different than someone who's looking at serving the whole continuum.
And just to sort of follow up on that, clearly dumbbells on the floor, things in the way, those are issues. What are other issues you should look for to make sure that you aren't at risk as a mature adult in a gym?
Well, number one is you want to ask them what type of emergency plans they have.
Oh, great point.
You know, what happens if I fall down, and you know, is there someone that has first aid? You know, what is their emergency plan to call in the ambulance? Also, what happens if I have a heart attack? Do they
defibrillator.
have exactly? Do they have defibrillators? You know, is their staff trained in CPR? You know, those are questions that you probably want to know at the start.
Why do you think that some seniors are so hesitant? You rarely really see somebody, especially in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, in a gym. Why are they so hesitant to use gyms?
Well, you know, that question can be answered two ways. One is in the commercial gyms, you hardly see them. And I think the main reason is that you have people out there who walk along the newsstands, and the expectation of health and fitness is the beautiful bodybuilder, or, you know, the beautiful woman in a G-string. And at 75, I might be going, well, maybe I'm not like that. And it's a very intimidating environment for many. On the other hand, what we've seen is a massive surge in fitness facilities opening up in retirement communities, assisted living facilities, active adult communities, senior centers that are very appealing, and they're well used by this segment. So I think a lot of it comes down to the intimidation and the expectations that people have going into these facilities.
I don't know if you found this, but one of the most interesting things that I found in talking to mature adults is they're less concerned about how their body looks and more concerned that their body is healthy.
Yes.
Is that what you found as well?
Absolutely. You know, once you start realizing that you're going to be living for quite a while, and you have a choice of, is it drug-induced? And you know, my father is 75 years of age, and I think that he's the only legal drug dealer that I know. You know, he has so many drugs in his cabinet, but you know, he's a perfect example. He's fatigued, he doesn't exercise, and his life is really not of high quality, where you can reverse that by living a greater quality life by participating in things like exercise.
If I were to go in and hire a personal trainer and I was a mature adult, what are some of the questions that I need to make sure that they know the answers to?
Well, the first thing I would, as I mentioned before, is I would ask them, have they actually worked with an individual of your age? And then I would also ask them, you know, questions such as, if you have a health condition, you know, 85% of people over the age of 65 have at least one chronic health condition. 80%. You know, so the question becomes is, do I have a chronic condition, and is that person actually able to deal with that issue? If I have diabetes, hypertension, have they programmed people who actually have those issues?
So I hear you saying that we need to make sure that our trainers understand the physiology of our bodies.
Yes.
You know, there's such debate over how many minutes you should train or you should work out a week. Some say 60, some say 30, and I was actually reading something about a 15-minute training session. What is your recommendation for older adults?
Yeah, that's the #1 question when I do public speaking that I always get is, people put their hands up and they go, "Can I ask you a question?" And of course I say yes.
No, not today.
No, not today. I'm leaving. But, the #1 question is, all of this is in the media. What do I do? And I say stick in the middle. Be conservative. 30 minutes a day, 60 minutes a day, 90 minutes a day by the IOM.
All right, you got to give me a better answer than that, mister. You're the expert.
Well,
how many minutes a day should a mature adult go exercise?
30.
At least 30.
You need at least 30.
How many days a week?
5 days a week.
Okay. Can I if I'm a mature adult in my 70s, for instance, can I go take a nice walk in the morning and midday in the evening, or is that not 30?
No,
Does it have to
as
be
long as you
consecutive?
break it up. As long as you break it up into segments, you can break it up into 10-minute segments 3 times a day, and you certainly can get in your exercise.
Your exercise. Great. This is fantastic information. Thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Appreciate it.